Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Derek Herrera. So I asked Derek, because he is a better spokesperson than I am, and we knew he'd show up, if Derek could show up and talk to us a little bit about how the unit works, and more importantly, what does it mean to someone who is paralyzed that cannot walk? What does it mean to be able to get up and stand? So Derek Herrera, you take it from here, you let me know what we should know.
Thank you. Thanks, pleasure to be here with you all today. Thank you so much for what you do and what you've done for, in particular, the San Diego VA. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So 4.5 years ago, I was shot and paralyzed in Afghanistan while leading my special operations team. And when I came back, I dealt with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowns. Didn't know if I would ever walk again, but as is the special operations mindset, I quickly made myself an expert in spinal cord injury research and found that these devices were being developed. And so I contacted ReWalk, the company that makes this device, called them incessantly. It bothered them because it wasn't approved for personal use at that time. Finally, they relented and allowed me to obtain a device. And so I've been using it for 3 years now, and it's incredible. It's the only way that I can stand and walk, being completely paralyzed from the chest down. And so for me, that was incredible to be able to stand and walk, to be able to stand, look you in the eye, and talk with you all here today. To retire from the Marine Corps, as you can see on some of the slides here, the way that I went in, not in a wheelchair. Those were some of the experiences I've had. And most importantly, I think psychologically, it changed the way that I think about my future. It inspired me to start my own company to try to address the needs of people with spinal cord injury. And so I've entered the fray as a medical device entrepreneur and building my own company, trying to revolutionize people's lives like my own. And this device, this experience that I had really allowed me to think about my future in a very different way. And so I'm grateful that people like you and like Guild are around to help support the VA and help push through some of these bureaucracies. I'm grateful for the Infinite Hero Foundation that helped make this connection and help veterans here in San Diego. The organization that I was able to obtain the device through is an organization called the MARSOC Foundation. Bottom line, thank you for your support and for changing people's lives like my own.
So I have two non-quick questions for you. But so just as a functionality, how does the unit work? I mean, you have to somehow tell it to start moving. Yeah. So how does it function?
So I like to think of this as more of a fighter jet than a Prius. And so this device requires people to actively pilot and to learn how to maneuver this device. And because of that, it takes a little bit of training time to successfully do. But once you do, you can independently get up and move around and walk at a reasonable pace, which is pretty awesome. So the way that it works, there are some motors that connect to gears at the hips and knees. And those motors activate a pre-programmed sequence. And so what I do is I use this wrist-worn controller that looks like a watch, and then I just change from mode to mode. So there's a few modes. It's pretty simple. There's a sitting mode that I use when the device is powered on, and I use it to get in the device. A standing mode, so I'll press a button to stand, and then I'll press a button to start walking, but the walking after that continues to be triggered by my forward lean. So I have to lean forward a set amount of degrees, and the sensor is just like in your iPhone. It senses when there's a change in acceleration, and in doing so, it'll trigger another step, creating what you all know as walking, and scientists call controlled falls. And so that's how we move forward with the ReWalk. Is I press a button to walk, and then start walking, and when I want to stop, I drag a foot to stop and carry on about my day. So it's pretty simple in concept, but very elegant in engineering and design.
And so how long does it take a typical person to get trained so they can go on their own? What is that? I mean, I know it varies.
It varies the user to user, but the training protocol, I think, for the VA now is a few months, and so it takes probably 15 to 20 sessions to be really proficient in, and those are just hourly sessions. And so I was a little stubborn and aggressive, probably like some of you in the room tonight. or today. And so when I first did it, I did it for 8 hours continuously the first day and 8 hours continuously the second day. And I didn't make as much progress as I would have liked. But
he is a Marine, right?
Yeah,
So
Special Forces.
yeah, Special
Yes.
Forces Marine.
Yeah, and so it takes a little while to become very proficient with it, but the good part is that this device is FDA approved for users to take home and use in their community. And so I have mine in my office up in Orange County where I live and work. And because of that, I don't have to take time out of my day to go to the therapist's office to walk around. I can walk around in my day-to-day life and can perform day-to-day activities just like a normal person. And so that's how I've been able to use the device.
Yeah. So when I met you the other night for dinner, you were using the chair. This thing doesn't fold up and go in your back pocket like your iPhone does. This is a little bulky.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Lauren's working. Some of the ReWalk people are working on that. They want to make it,
And I think
seamless,
that Derek made a comment to me at dinner the other night. He said, Jeff, I compare this to the first bag cell phone you had, the big bulky bag with the big antenna sticking out. And now he wants to get to at least get to the flip phone so we can get to the smartphone. So I think it's so critical that our gift will be kind of an impetus for more Dereks to get into the thing, beat the hell out of the machines. They're all Marines, right? So these things are going to come back and here's your stuff back, and beat them up and require companies like ReWalk and others to make them lighter, make them better, make them more diligent, all the things we want them to do. But we have to have people, bodies in the seats to try them, make it work. One quick question for you, and I want Lori to jump in. So what happens to the body? I know this could be like a whole another 10 hours, but what happens to the body to a person who becomes paralyzed who cannot get up? I mean, does this help any other function for a veteran?
This is critical for function. And so some of you who run Spartan races and do things like that may know, but sitting is not good for your body. So sitting all day, living a sedentary lifestyle, it's not healthy. Your circulation decreases, your bone density decreases, your muscle mass decreases. Being able to stand and walk and move is incredibly important and valuable for physiological function. And so you can imagine if you're bound to a wheelchair or confined as a wheelchair user, all day, every day, for years on end, your body will start to negatively react to that stimulus. And so being able to do this is incredibly therapeutic. It has tons of physical benefits, including muscle mass, bone density, circulation, physical fitness, all those sorts of things. And so this is a game changer, essentially, for anyone who's paralyzed.